Good day, everyone. Welcome to Sound Espressivo. I'm Anna Ouspenskaya, pianist, and I'll be your host today. Sound Espressivo is a new generation of classical music competition. It offers contestants to perform in live television-style broadcasts from their own location anywhere in the world. Everyone's home, everyone's studio becomes a concert hall. Sound Espressivo panel of judges represents top-performing artists and music educators from around the globe. Sound Espressivo offers an unprecedented array of awards for musicians of all ages and all levels of experience. Welcome to our podcast. Meet the judges, music promoters, music managers, and music educators.
No matter where you are or who you are, music connects us all. We started with a dream, but now we are paving the future. Welcome to the Sound Espressivo Global Competition. Fully virtual, yet bringing musicians closer together than ever before, now on a global scale. True live, inclusivity, diversity, connection, community, an extraordinary array of judges. Get noticed by companies all over the world. Prizes, scholarships, performance opportunities. Apply to be a part of the most exciting congregation of artists like nothing you've ever seen before. We guarantee quality and leave no musician behind. We can't wait to hear you on the virtual stage.
Welcome again. Sound Espressivo attracted an unprecedented array of judges and music promoters and people who help musicians and music organization go forward in the difficult times. On every one of our podcasts, we have incredible guests who share their life experiences, their experience with performing, their experience with recording, and other aspects of music performance and education. And today we welcome a distinguished guest, Marat Bisengaliev. Welcome, Marat. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Anna, and hi everyone who joined our podcast.
It's an honor to have you. You're a performer, you're an educator, lecturer, you're a renowned recording artist with labels which any artist is honored to record for, like EMI, Sony BMG, Nexus, Marco Polo. You've done so much in the world of music performance and recording.
Pleasure to have to be on your podcast.
Thank you.
Great project, which really kind of attracted me.
We are so honored that in your extremely busy life you found time to agree and to participate in this project.
It's really questionable right now when people say truly sort of a busy life. Right now, I don't think anyone is busy. Maybe just you. But, currently, I think all the musicians are having kind of a simply nice time.
But Marat, times had not always been very favorable to musicians, but still you found ways to tour around the world as a concert violinist and as a conductor too. And remarkably, you're an accomplished manager, if I may put that word on the work you've done. You founded and established not one, but two full symphony orchestras in two completely different parts of the world. And you brought both of them to an international acclaim.
I think you're the first one who called me the manager. I never thought about myself as a manager, but okay, here we are. This is my next sort of
well, I don't mean to label
you.
To
be a successful manager. But I do agree, yes, this is the most difficult time for any musicians, for anyone who's involved with the music, promoters, agents, and I know because I get loads of calls, loads of letters, chats, and I know that musicians are really falling into truly hard times.
Exactly.
And of course, I think this project which you are right now offering, I think this is incredibly timely and incredibly good, especially for those difficult times.
Well, I would like to ask you about your own approach to different times. I know we both share a bit of experience of living in the Soviet Union formally and, immigrating and traveling around the world. And people always complain. People complain of unfavorable situations, of lack of time, of lack of support, of not enough this or that, not enough money for the arts. It's an ongoing complaint. And today, in this situation, people have even more reasons to complain. And many people never accomplish their dreams in music world, even though they have the talent and the education and the background and all the abilities. But you did. You continue to accomplish what many people may see only as an unattainable dream to many musicians. If you don't mind sharing, what are the secrets of your abilities, of your successes, and what is the secret, your personal secrets, to getting this incredible support that you receive from hundreds and hundreds of people across the world, across the cultures, who support your projects, participate in them, and get excited and put their energy, the orchestras you established, the competition you run.
I don't know.
Just like now, you
Secrets,
mentioned
yes.
you get loads of
Yeah.
letters and messages, so people look up to you. Please share with us how you do that.
I can't think about any sort of secrets because there are no secrets. I mean, about myself, I could say that I'm not, perhaps, and I've never been as talented as many of my friends, yes, but what I've got is probably the work ethics. That I think, some people have perhaps 50% talent and 50% work ethics to get somewhere. I can't say about myself. I would say that probably it's about 30 to 70. So all my life I was working, and I think when you get used to kind of real work ethics, yes, and you really kind of work hard, I think that becomes your second nature. You probably would achieve more, especially during the hard times, than just through your pure talent. So that's why probably you say about me as a manager, probably because I've got this sort of, maybe I've got this quality because I try to do things not only kind of performance while, but also in other directions. And the direction is also orchestra building, it's also at the music academy, yes, helping musicians in many other ways. But if we talk about secret, probably the most important one is to find your sort of profession, which is more as a hobby than your profession. If you enjoy doing your stuff, in this case, it doesn't become like a work, it becomes as your hobby. So I think that's probably the main secret of the success.
That's incredible. So you found in your profession both the passion and the profession. And I would like, with your permission, to play a video of Marat's violin performance.
Yes.
Thank you. That is one absolutely stunning performance.
That's a
Brava.
very long movement. Because we play it on and on and on, so I think it's better just to cut it.
Yeah, you'd leave our audience and myself hungry for more. Marat,
This is Symphony Orchestra of India, which can I believe it is already 15 years old.
and that's one of the orchestras which you established.
Yeah, this is the orchestra which I'm very proud of.
Incredible. But I want to say that this playing really portrays your principle. Profession and passion need to merge. That's one of powerful, passionate playing
Thank
and
you.
flawless, gorgeous sound. I just love your playing. I really can't say any more than that.
Thank you. Thank you. Moscow Conservative, as you are.
Well, Moscow Conservatory taught us the technique, but it didn't teach us life principles, and it didn't teach us the love and passion. We had to have it and develop it, and you did, and you're doing it, and you're really an example to me in so many ways.
Thank you.
And in how
Thank
you
you.
embrace the situation and how you embrace the new in music, new compositions, new worlds, new technology. Tell us about that.
Sorry about my, I think it's a reflection from the water. It's just suddenly the sun started reflecting exactly to my face. So sorry about the.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Can you tell me again? What do you want to?
You embrace anything and everything new which has a promise to help musicians go forward. And technology is one of them. Please
Yeah.
tell us your relationship with technology, because for many musicians it's an obstacle.
I'm a technology, I would say, freak. I mean, there is even a magazine where it says I'm a techno freak on the front page, with the eyes full of numbers. Yes. And
Seriously.
actually, I was always fascinated, and I do think that the technology is the future of music, not to the point that technology would replace human being, but to help in many ways. That's why I could say proudly that I was probably the first one. Well, I would say the first one, because the moment when the touch screens appeared, the moment I bought straight away and started using it for performances. And that was 1996, I think.
My goodness.
And then
That was among the first people who had used it for sure.
and the orchestra, which was documented in a South Bank show, West Kazakhstan Philharmonic Orchestra. which played Carl Jenkins' Requiem. It also was the first orchestra, the entire orchestra, which used the touch screens. So that was 2005, which was 15 years ago. Yes, and of course, 2016, when we used the entire orchestra used the VR glasses, virtual reality glasses, which allows them to read the music. So this is all kind of as well as I don't know. This is probably relevant, but the orchestra also was the first one to use the electric instruments with a light, the crystal,
Yes, of course I know.
With the bows.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Marat,
Yeah.
this is amazing.
This is just show. Yeah.
This is amazing. What is amazing is you not only embrace and learn the technology yourself, but you're able to bring the whole orchestra on board with that. And that is incredible, because we hear from a lot of musicians, okay, well, that technology is fine, but I'm not into it. I don't even want to try. And I'm just like you. I believe once people try using what technology can offer musicians, there is no going back. It's incredible opportunities.
Absolutely. And the interesting thing that musicians are probably the most conservative people on the entire world. And I found that it's incredibly difficult to push them to do something new. Yes, to get from this paper sheets, which keep falling down, yes, to iPad Pros. And nowadays, I think almost every musician uses iPad Pro for the music. They keep the whole entire library
in one place,
using the pedal, and it's completely different world. It's so easy. Yes, so. Why not the next step? Yes, and that's why I was attracted to your project, because this is something which I have to admit I worked with the specialists, and I think I am much behind than you are. This new technology which allows to defeat the latency.
Exactly.
I think this is the breakthrough. This is the breakthrough which. That's why I'm desperate to be part of your project, because I think this is something which would break the molds absolutely everywhere for musicians. Really excited about that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm very excited, and we're planning on testing the newest technology which is being developed at the moment. And Marat and I...
and I'm the first one to say, can we do it with me and my orchestra?
Oh, yes, we're doing it with you. Well, first, you and I are going to play some sonatas on that platform.
Oh, yes.
And we'll show the world that you and I, we can do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Yes, I promise.
Oh, definitely, we're doing it. And the newest barrier which that technology had passed is already allowing to rehearse almost like it would sound in a physical concert hall with just 10.5 latency.
But I have to find the ways to get here fiber optic connectivity, which is incredibly difficult. I live in the middle of nowhere in France. That could be problematic, but we'll see. I might have to fly especially to London for that.
This is something I would like to point out. I would like our audience to take a note of Marat Bisengaliev saying just casually, okay, well, this is a project which I feel is a forward-going project. I may have to fly to London for that. And he just takes it like a normal step. Whatever it takes to go forward, I'm going forward. And I want to herald you for that, because this is the attitude we need in hard times and in good times, because that's the attitude which brings us forward. And I would like to introduce to everyone the virtual stage which Virtual Concert Halls created, and which is providing the platform for the Sound Espressivo competition. For everyone and anyone who will be our contestants, you will be welcome on that stage, and this is the quality of the sound and picture which we will provide in our effort to present your performance in the best possible way. Marat, the Sound Espressivo competition is a global competition. How do you see the role of Sound Espressivo competition as a global effort, global initiative?
I see it as a great opportunity for a wider number of people who don't have the luxury, first of all, for traveling, for musicians who perhaps incredibly talented, I could say, for example, my orchestra, Symphony Orchestra of India, played with a little Indian boy, Lydian Nathaswaran. And this boy is a self-taught pianist who won the America's Got Talent competition. And I can tell you that there is quite a number of truly talented people like him, little boys, little girls, even older people. And this platform actually the perfect platform for them to show themselves. And this is not about winning. This is about participating, and this is about opportunity for us, for other judges, yes, to spot the real talent and perhaps to help them. So I think this side of this competition gives a truly wonderful opportunity for wider number of really talented musicians from countries where perhaps Western classical music is not so developed. But I can tell you, I work in India with the Symphony Orchestra, and I went to different parts, and I can tell you that listening to students, listening to young talent there, I was astonished at the level of those young talents who actually self-taught. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. That's why, one of the projects which I do now is the SOI Music Academy, which we have it in a proper sort of traditions, of a Russian school, a Russian music school.
Well, the Russian music school was built on searching for talent and helping people polish the tools which they need to represent their talent to the best of their ability, which is the technique, of course, and the talent and the love and the dedication were the starting point. So you're carrying through the Russian school's tradition, looking for new talents and helping them develop and blossom in the best way possible. Now, interesting you mentioned that this competition does open the doors to people who otherwise may not be able to participate in the competition. But we hear some criticism, which is, we would like to hear and address. Some people say, well, your competition requires for participants to be familiar with the computer, to have a laptop at home, to be able to set up a camera, to be able to connect to the internet. Now, my view on that, the investment into learning the technology and setting up the technology for performance is much less and much more accomplishable.
Absolutely agree. And also, even if someone can't afford, can't invest, into computer, there is always a nearby city, nearby village, which has this connectivity. Yes, so I think this is a much lesser task for anyone. I remember myself in the old Soviet Union when I was struggling, to get to any competitions. Yes, and I know very well the difficulties which those talented musicians are facing. That's why I do think that. Yes, it's good to have really a world-class performance who would win.
I think we lost the sound from the connection, and
a little bit the sound.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's fine. We're back.
Let me try.
Yeah, it's good.
Hello?
We can hear you. It's perfectly
you
fine.
Can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I just I'll just try once more. Sorry, it's some technical problems.
No, it's fine.
Oh,
we're good.
So technology always have some sort of unexpected.
Yeah, being prepared for unexpected is part of it.
Absolutely. I only hope that during the finals or anything, something like that won't happen. But you know, never say never. Of course, things happen, and we could
Well,
always
things happen
find ways. Yes.
in the most conventional settings of all. I remember performing Fifth Beethoven Concerto in the concert hall for 3,500 seats in the former Soviet Union, where things supposedly worked perfectly. So at the very beginning, the first chord, the orchestra plays, and then my cadenza, the lights went down and turned off completely, and the hall did not have any windows, so it was pitch dark. So I played my cadenza, and the orchestra came in with the second chord, and then I played my second cadenza, and then by the time I got to the trill, before the big tutti of the orchestra, the lights started gradually to come on. So I remember conductor turning to me, white. I could see his face was white, and he was whispering. I could see on the lips, "Please keep going with your trill." And I said, "Sure." And the trill was in the right hand, so I went like this with my left hand. So I kept playing the trill, and then that was probably one of the most outstanding standing ovation we got. The audience
he was the only one who didn't know his score. All entire orchestra, I'm sure they probably were completely confident.
Well, the orchestra came in when the lights came in, so my trill just lasted a very long fermata.
Yes.
So little glitches in life are just a part of life, and it just helps being prepared for
it's a very interesting story. But carry on that. This is truly not about winners. This is about the people, I think, which I do believe, and I do believe we should listen from beginning to end. This is very important, and this is something which I would say to every judge, that it's incredibly important to listen whatever level is someone is. You have to patiently listen from beginning to end. And I do think that we should apply and be incredibly cautious with what we say to those musicians.
This is very important, and when we were working on the concept of the sound espressivo, this was one of the very intensely debated topic, whether or not we reduce or prescribe the length of the performance, or what pieces people have to choose, which composers, different periods, or if we would open the competition for musicians, for contestants to choose their own. And the result is, as we all know, the sound espressivo does not prescribe the repertoire, but sound espressivo promises to hear everyone's performance from the beginning to the end. No one will be stopped. We believe the contestants' presentation needs to be heard in the whole, just like what you said. Same goes for the music which they perform. The composer's thought needs to be heard to the end, in connection with the interpretation of the contestant, before proper judgment can be made.
I agree. This is something to. This is highly debatable, because I absolutely understand one side, and I absolutely understand another side. Personally, I would agree with the conception of espressivo global competition, because do we really want someone who is equally sort of average in a whole program, or do we need someone who perhaps not very good at certain program, but absolutely genius in his own sort of thing? My own experience when I look at the soloists, current soloists and past soloists, yes, I could say even about myself, we all choose our program, and we all play whatever we feel we are strongest at. Of course, there are cases when the promoter or somebody offers you something which is not really suitable, and many soloists make a mistake by accepting those conditions. They come, and I can tell you that I had some wonderful musicians who came to play with our orchestra, Symphony Orchestra of India, and they were wonderful. I invited them, but they had to play something which probably were not really in their style. And they lost, they unfortunately didn't deliver what I really expected. So I do think that in this case, the competition is right. We need to see the strongest side of every musician and then judge purely on the strongest, strongest is the side of every participant.
And this is the opinion which I don't think we hear enough, because there's just too much in music education on, okay, let's cover all the basics instead of developing the individuality of each musician. And you're absolutely right. As a performer myself, I can't say that I equally connect with every style and every period of music. There are some composers who I just connect with better and I perform them better, and that would be true for any age musician. But in order for the musicians to be able to identify which pieces, which composers represent their talent the most, they need to think about it. To begin with, they need to focus on themselves as opposed to on pleasing some average criteria. So in Sound and Espressivo, we would like to encourage musicians to look for their own unique path.
And also, it becomes less of a sport because, the program is so diverse, from Bach, Mozart to Penderecki. So, it becomes like a sport, how well you go through and how many mistakes you would make and how cleanly you play. Yes. I can tell you that I've got experience of judging competition. I've got my own competition, which we already done 6 times. It's a Rice International competition. And unfortunately, there are so many pitfalls. So when you have competition, personally, I don't like competition, but this is a necessary evil for any young performer. Unfortunately, yes, you have to go through this hell. But if you give opportunity, like you say, yes, if you give opportunity for someone to play what he's passionate about and he feels like a fish in the water, yes, I think this is something which would give less of a sport, but something which someone is ready to say. And he's confident enough to get. If he is not good enough in his own sort of repertoire, in this case, of course, there is no sort of discussion. Yes, we just say, thank you very much. Yes, and here we are.
How do you feel about the Sound Espressivo? It's a new concept of bringing not only contestants but the judges online in the same broadcast, in the same program, live program. And judges will be giving live immediate feedback to the contestants. Of course, we're not asking the judges to say, okay, you passed to the next round or you didn't, because that's a collegiate decision. But we are asking the judges to provide comments. How do you feel about that, and what kind of comments do you plan on addressing? How do you plan to?
I don't know. I never actually had this experience of judging and giving it straight away, unless if it was a masterclass or a lesson. Yes, you give straight away what you think. But this is competition, and this is incredibly responsibility. To say to young talent, which sometimes could make or break somebody's career. So that's why I'm just saying to all the judges to be incredibly careful with the word, the choice of words, what you say, because this is something which would define somebody's career. So I don't know. From one side, it is incredibly cruel to listen for the participant, to listen straight away after the performance, the criticism. I think it's very cruel. Yes. From another point of view, of course, that would make it much less painful, because I can tell you, as a in the past as a participant, it's nothing worse than to wait this endless discussions in a panel. And quite often between judges, many things could happen because of the influence of one judge on another, and so on. Yes, here the judges, they don't discuss between themselves. They give a straight away opinion. That's a pure opinion without any influence from other. That's why I think this is one of the plus points. And the only thing which I was a little bit disappointed is that the pupils of the judges were allowed to participate. I don't think it should be as well as the relatives. I don't think it should be happening on the any competition. Yes, but this is something to discuss. I don't know, for the future.
Well, we as a community are behind Sound Espressivo. It's a huge community of musicians and promoters and managers of concert venues and online concert seasons. And it's 200 plus people working on it. And Marat, we're incredibly grateful for your input. This is one of the hot discussion topics, whether or not the judges, students current or past students, should be allowed in the competition. And for this very first competition, we made a decision to allow and welcome judges' own students in the competition. And we ensure that the contestants are going to be judged by a panel, which will exclude their current or previous teachers. And with a panel of judges of 35 judges, we are able to manage that. However, for the finals of the competition, that becomes a little bit more tricky because the judges panel will be divided into 9 categories. And what are the chances that none of your students are going to be in the category which you choose to judge? Now, for that, we found a solution for this one. It may not be the best one, but that's the solution we're going to use this time. If your student is in the finals and you're judging that category, you will not be able to hear your student because we will disconnect you from the broadcast. Our producers have complete control over that. So, and as the competition develops and goes forward, maybe we'll find even better solutions. What do you think?
Well, I hope that it's still not ideal because there is still element of influence. There is still element of interest, So it's endless, It's endless to talk about unbiased. How can we make as unbiased as possible? There are ways to do it, and I don't know. For me, probably the simplest is simply not to allow anyone who's connected in any ways, relationship, teaching, in any you just simply not allowed. Yes, so that's my sort of view. But of course, we need to see how it goes.
We need to see because the reality of event is going to teach us something we don't know until it happens.
Yes.
And yes, I'm with you. Music competition scene does not have the best reputation of being unbiased or being objective or being even honest. A lot of young musicians are turned off by the prospect of being judged by people who, maybe have their own interests in the competition, and that is a situation, the ice which we would like to break.
Well, at least to reduce to an incredible minimum. I know it's almost impossible to get rid of any science, so sort of completely eradicate. But if it's brought to incredible minimum, I think that would be already a huge victory.
That is what we are trying to accomplish here with 35 judges on the panel. This Sound Espressivo is the very first competition in the history of the music competitions to bring the judges panel of that size. And also the musicians are going to be judged based on artistic categories. In other words, flutists are not going to be listening to 100 flute players and judge them based on flute technique. It'll be a mix of contestants who will be nominated for artistic categories. Now, speaking of the artistic categories, every judge will be choosing their own categories which they prefer to judge. Can you tell us which ones you're more interested in and why?
Well, obviously, of course, violinist, but I can tell you the thing I like about this competition is a possibility to mix, and I think the variety of judges in different fields, I think that something which gives a more objective view, because I'm as a violinist probably would look for different things when somebody is playing. Yes, I probably would look a little bit more with like a narrow tunnel. Yes, whereas a pianist like you or the
conductors and managers,
conductor or the wind player, they probably would look completely differently. They got different ears, and that's what I think valuable, and that is something which would probably give a really good sort of outcome from this competition. I'm actually I look forward to try myself in different categories. Probably I wouldn't be good at percussion. Yes, because I was listening. I was actually, I've got experience of listening exams from the academy, and I listen to everybody. And I can discuss everybody, but when I listen to percussion, I found it very difficult to discuss. So,
but where do you see yourself more in the artistic categories, as if judging virtuosos, or maybe judging people who are more interested in the academic approach to the music, more historic, both, and miniatures or lyricism? Because anything. I don't have sort of definitive box, where place. Yes, I don't have. I would like to try kind of as wide as possible, and then see where I feel more kind of comfortable, because I know this is incredibly, being a judge is an incredibly responsible job, and the worst thing which a judge could do is to jeopardize somebody's aspiration, somebody's career, especially young talent. So here, again and again, I do think it's better to say less than something which could really ruin the future. Mm-hmm. I honestly wish I had judges like Marat when I was going through the competitions, with so much sense of responsibility and support. How would you recommend the competition, the future contestants of the Sound Espressivo, best prepare for performance on the virtual platform in front of the judges who are going to talk to them right after? What do you think? What steps do you think would help them?
I think the actual format of the competition would help anyone, because there is no audience. All they can see is just the camera and the microphone. And that's completely different experience. It's like a recording studio. It's like, I can tell you that I felt always much better when I'm in the recording studio. And my best always came not from the live performance, but from the recording studio. And I think for majority of people, when they play in front of a camera, is probably more sort of natural experience, where they can get out the best from the playing. If you remember, nothing really more terrifying than to see these famous places in the panel, sitting in front of you in a half-empty hall.
Terrifying.
Yes, and also you are terrified that they would ring the bell, yes, in the middle of your play.
That's so distracting.
Thing. That's the worst thing which could happen to anyone. That could completely ruin somebody's confidence.
Completely. When you don't even know if you will be able to say your sentence to the end, to play your piece to the end. That is just so unnerving.
Absolutely. That's and also unfair, I would say.
And we promise that will not happen to anyone in this competition.
Good.
As people who had gone through competitions, you've gone through many competitions, I did so too. Every judge on our judges panel that was not a topic of discussion. Everyone agreed completely that stopping contestants is unfair. It distracts the musicians from immersing themselves in performance. It just cripples the performance altogether. Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Yeah.
Yes. And I would like to ask you, Marat, we didn't even touch a half of the questions which I wanted to ask you.
I know.
I would like to ask you to please give me a permission to come back again on another podcast so that we can continue our discussion.
I would be happy, yes, to discuss with you because it's a real pleasure. And secondly, there are so many things to discuss, very interesting things. We just touched the surface now of the iceberg.
Just did.
Yes.
Only
yes.
the
but
surface.
There are so many things which are incredibly important and incredibly interesting to talk about.
Yes, and at this time, I think it's incredibly important that the world of aspiring musicians hear your opinion, hear your sharing your experience and your views of how things need to be done to be successful as a musician of great passion and great success. And if you would please just pass on a short closing message to our audience, the teachers, the students, and the lovers of music before we close our program.
Well, my first message is to my fellow judges that this is unique competition, that we need to make sure, that we make it as unbiased as possible. And to all the participants, I would like to wish that they would feel playing in their own room, yes, to get the best out of it, because I think this competition gives that opportunity. So I wish everyone, and I look forward to listen to everyone who I will be kind of able to listen, of course, and I'll try to listen as many as possible.
Thank you, Marat, so much for coming on our program, for sharing yourself, for sharing your wisdom with everyone. Extremely helpful. We really appreciate your time. And thank you, our viewers. Thank you, everyone who was with us on the program. And thank you, Virtual Concert Hall's team, the incredible people behind the scenes who help us run these programs. And see you again soon.
No matter where you are or who you are, music connects us all. We started with a dream, but now we are paving the future. Welcome to the Sound Espressivo Global Competition. Fully virtual, yet bringing musicians closer together than ever before, now on a global scale. True live, inclusivity, diversity, connection, community, an extraordinary array of judges. Get noticed by companies all over the world. Prizes, scholarships, performance opportunities. Apply to be a part of the most exciting congregation of artists like nothing you've ever seen before. We guarantee quality and leave no musician behind. We can't wait to hear you on the virtual stage.